Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Saha Viryankaravavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. We'll study the topic Waker, Dreamer, Deep Sleeper, and you. Yes, we'll start.
Waker, dreamer, deep sleeper, and you. Conditioned by desires, the self has assumed three distinct personalities as waker, dreamer, and deep sleeper. All three are unaware of their conditioning. They believe all is well with them. Each finds no need to set right one's present status. Like the one under the influence of alcohol, does not realize he has lost his own personality and assumed a false one. And he conducts himself as that alien person believing he is fine. Likewise, having lost identity with the real self, you assume three false statuses as the waker, dreamer, or deep sleeper. In the waking state of consciousness, you assume the position of the waker, experiencing the waking world. The waking world exists only for the waker and not for you. The entire waking world disappears when you leave the waking state and enter either the dream or deep sleep. Again, in the dream state of consciousness, you assume the position of the dreamer experiencing the dream world. The dream world exists only for the dreamer alone, not for you. The dream world also disappears no sooner you leave the dream state and enter either the deep sleep or waking. In the deep sleep state of consciousness, you assume the position of the deep sleeper experiencing nothing. The experience of nothingness is for the deep sleeper alone, not for you. The world of nothingness also disappears when you leave the deep sleep state and enter either of the other two states. Your life revolves around these three states of consciousness. When you assume the personalities of the waker, dreamer, and deep sleeper. The waker, dreamer, and deep sleeper do not know you. All three are states of your conditioned consciousness. They have lost their original state of pure consciousness, lost you, and have become totally complacent of their own enclaves, each swearing by his own state. The waker believes entirely in his existence and the waking world he lives in. He rejects the other two states of the dream and deep sleep. So does the dreamer swear by his own state. The dreamer also believes in himself alone and the dream world he lives in. He rejects the other two states. As far as the deep sleeper is concerned, he is steeped in a gulf of ignorance. He knows nothing, believes in nothing, experiences nothing. However, the waker alone has an edge over the dreamer and deep sleeper. The dreamer and the deep sleeper cannot conceive, much less investigate you, the origin of the three states. Only the waker is privileged with a subtle intellect to conceive beyond his conditioned state of waking, investigate you. Thus, in the waking state, the waker can aspire to shed his conditioning and reach the unconditioned you, attain self-realization. However, a human needs to be spiritually evolved to raise the question as to who he is, the waker, dreamer, or deep sleeper. You seem to swear by each of the three while assuming that state. Then which one of them is really you? There is a parable in the scripture which throws light on this realm of ignorance which every human being ought to investigate. King Janaka was an evolved person. One night he dreamt a horrible dream. He dreamt he was a beggar in the street suffering from penury and starvation. He shot out of his bed. Even as he woke up to be the king in the luxury of the palace, he could not shake away that vivid experience of the beggar. He wondered how he could have been the beggar a while ago and now the king. Janaka summoned his ministers and posed the famous question ever asked by a human being. Am I the king who imagined that I was a beggar? Or am I the beggar now imagining myself to be the king? Who am I? The ministers were totally perplexed and could not answer the king. They lacked the spiritual acumen even to appreciate the magnitude of the question. Time passed, but the king would not be appeased. The indefatigable question persisted in his mind until a spiritually awakened sage, Ashtavakra, was brought in to answer the king. To that enlightened master, the king posed the same question as though the dream had just passed. Am I the king who imagined myself to be a beggar, or am I the beggar now imagining to be a king? The sage replied with his resounding words of wisdom, You are neither. You are not the king. You are not the beggar. You are the self. Now you are imagining to be the king. A while ago, you imagined to be the beggar. Having lost your real state, you assume the position of the waker in the waking state, the dreamer in the dream state, and the deep sleeper in the deep sleep state. The waker, dreamer, and deep sleeper are your conditioned states. Your unconditioned real state is the supreme self, not king, not beggar, not nothing. King Janaka reverentially received the message and found his real self. So must you recognize your mission as a human being is to release yourself from the prison houses of the waking, dream, and deep sleep. Realize you are not the waker, dreamer, or deep sleeper. You are the immaculate self. Recognize your essential being. Attain self-realization, spiritual enlightenment. You are heir to it.
So, the waker, dreamer, deep sleeper, and you. An analysis of the three states itself indicates you are not this. You are not the waker, you are not the dreamer, you are not the deep sleeper. The proper study of the three states will give you the understanding. So all that is needed is what? A proper study of the three states. Janaka wanted to study the three states properly. Ashtavakra helped him. That's how we understand. Ashtavakra, Janaka, see, there are some combinations. You can keep talking about them any number of times and it's still there. Still they are so wonderful. Nachiketas, Yama, Shvetaketu and the father. Shvetaketu and father. Janaka and Ashtavakra. There are some, there are these extraordinary combinations. Unfortunately, Arjuna and Krishna doesn't come under this combination. How much ever we are studying Gita and all that, you will not find Arjuna and Krishna coming under this combination. Why? Because of the very distinct flavor that they bring in to the, because of the very distinct flavor they bring to the inquiry. So, we'll study the three states. I'm so tempted to talk about Janaka and Ashtavakra, but we will not, we will see it later. Because let us study what Janaka did, what he understood as the three, what was the study about the three states that Ashtavakra was trying to educate him on. First, we will study that. And after a while, we'll get fatigued, then we'll go to the story. Yeah. So first we will get fatigued, and when we are tired, we'll go to the story. Now, what is this waker, dreamer, and deep sleeper, and you? It's called Jagra, Swapna, Sushupti. Waking, dream, and deep sleep. In Sanskrit, it's called Avastha. In Tamil also, there is the word Avastha, isn't it? What is the meaning of the word Avastha in Tamil? How do you translate Avastha in English for the sake of Anshu, Reza and all? How do you translate Avastha in? How do you translate that in English? Avastha. English la solunga.
Difficult. State of difficult.
Dharma Sangadam.
Dharma Sangadam. Dharma Sangadam. Is that Avastha? Avastha means everything in it causes pain. That is called Avastha. Sariyana Avastha pa ivoroda we will say, isn't it? Ravindran. We will say Shankaroda romba Avastha we will say, isn't it? If we say Shankaroda romba Avastha means what? There is nothing in him that is pleasant, agreeable, isn't it? What it means. Yeah. So Avastha Traya. Three types of Avastha. So the very word Avastha itself is so meaningful. So each and every word there can be studied. Shankar, correct? You are not Avastha, Shankar. Yeah. You are very, at least class we have to be very formal. I know. But yes, you have some Avastha. Yeah. You causes that. You cause that. So what is this Avastha Traya? The three states of experiences. Avastha means experiences. Avastha Trayam means three types of experiences. The moment we talk about an experience, you should understand three factors. In every experience, three factors. Don't go to subject-object. This is a totally different, this is a deeper analysis than subject-object analysis. All experience consists of subject and object. You are the subject, the world is the object, and all that is a level of analyzing an experience. Now, here we are analyzing experience at a deeper level. Because since we are studying Janaka, we have to assume that we are Janaka and analyze. So, what is the analysis of an experience? Every experience has three factors. What are the three factors? The three factors of an experience is, number one, condition of the mind. Number two, the nature of experience. Number three, the medium of experience. Again, I repeat. Experience has three factors. One is the condition of the mind. Second is the nature of experience. The third one is medium of experience. All these three goes into defining an experience. Because why do we say mind? Because mind plays a prominent role in all the three states. Since the mind plays a prominent role in all the three states, we need to know the condition of the mind in each and every state. Now, the second is the nature of experience. When we go there, you'll understand what do we mean by the nature of experience when we start analyzing it. The third one is the medium of experience, because to experience you need a medium. So what is the medium of experience? When you analyze it with these three, you understand you and these three states are disconnected. You have nothing to do with these three states. Knowledge itself must bring you a conviction. Just as the very Mahavakya analysis brought about some conviction, and then, I don't know, something we spoke about clay and pot last week. I don't remember what we spoke, but something we spoke about clay and pot, that clay and pot itself will bring about a conviction, because knowledge itself should bring about a conviction, a deeper and deeper analysis. So it's like peeling onions. It's like peeling onions. Layer by layer by layer, you keep peeling it off. So what are we doing here? The three experiences we are analyzing. Three experiences we are analyzing. What is the waking state? We'll start from the waking state. So, condition of the mind, nature of experience, medium of experience. These three matters. Now, having studied these three, having understood these three, now we will start into the waking state. Now, what is the condition of the mind in the waking state? The condition of mind in the waking state is the subtle body is fully alert and alive. In the waking state, all the faculties of the subtle body are fully operational. When you say all the faculties of the subtle body is fully operational, the mind and intellect is fully operational in the waking state. Since the condition of the mind in the waking state is fully available, only in the waking state there is a possibility of gaining knowledge and understanding. Because the subtle body is fully available, operational only in the waking state. That is why all the spiritual practices, sadhana, gaining knowledge, everything has to be done in the waking state. Why? Because the subtle body is fully available only in the waking state. So the condition of the mind is what? All the faculties of the subtle body are fully operational. What is the nature of experience? The nature of experience of the waking world is, number one, you are experiencing an external world. Sense organs based experience is waker's experience. You are dealing with an external world, a tangible world. So what is the nature of experience of the waking state? It is external, it is tangible, it is object based, sense organs based, two-way transaction. The world gives you stimuli, and you give stimuli back to the world. So two-way transaction is waker's experience. What is the medium of experience? Gross body and subtle body. So the medium of experience of waking state is gross body and subtle body. The nature of experience is you are dealing with the world that is external, tangible, objective, sense organs based experience, and it's a two-way transaction. What is the condition of the mind? All the faculties are fully available and operational. That is the waking state. If you understand this as the waking state, analysis of dream state becomes easy, relatively easy. I'll keep asking the questions. Please try answering it. Clear? Now we are analyzing the dream state. What is the condition of the mind in the dream state? What is the condition of the mind in the dream state? Only one faculty is functioning, not all the faculties. Only one faculty function. What is that only faculty that functions in the dream? Memory.
Oh,
Memory is just memory. First thing that you have to understand in the dream state is, what is the condition of the mind in the dream state? Only memory works. Are you able to follow? What is the nature of experience? Since it is memory, it's an internal world. That's what we call it as mind projects. When we say mind projects, what is the definition of the mind? Emotions, impulses, likes and dislikes, attachment, all that. Now, is that projecting? Is that do we use that definition of the mind here when we say mind projects the dream world? Shankar, புரியுதா கேள்வி? ஆனா இப்படி சொல்லி கொடுத்ததே இல்லை சார். 40 வருஷம் கழிச்சு, if you are teaching like this, what we will do? After 40 years, if you teach like this, how you will? So when we say the mind projects, what part of the mind is projecting? Memory. So there is no mind, there is no intellect, there is no nothing, only memory. Since it is only memory based, it is what is the nature of experience? It is an internal world. Number 2, what you experience in the waking world is a concrete world. In the dream state, you are experiencing an abstract world. Number 3, waking state is objective world. Dream is subjective world. Dream is purely subjective. Based on what? Memory and vasana. So even though the waking state is also vasana based, what is the difference between waking and dream now? The gross body and the subtle body is fully available in the waking state. In the dream state, only
memory.
In the dream state, what is functioning? Only memory. So the memory projects something and it dies away. The memory projects something and it dies away. Correct? Are you okay till now? This is the dream state. Okay. What is the deep sleep state?
So medium of experience in dream state.
Medium of experience in dream state is subtle body. Only the memory and memory out of the subtle body. So condition of the mind is memory because of the subtle body alone is functioning. Nature of experiences, it is internal, it is abstract, it is subjective, memory based. The medium of experience is subtle body. In the waking state, it is gross body. In the dream state, it is
Only
subtle body. Okay. Now we come to the deep sleep state. What is deep sleep state? What is the condition of the mind in the deep sleep state?
no.
For all practical purposes, absence of subtle body. Absence of subtle body. With the absence of subtle body. And when we say subtle body, absence of subtle body means it automatically implies absence of gross body also. Because when we say gross body, subtle body, causal body is there. When we say subtle body, causal body, subtle body is there. When we say no subtle body means no subtle body, no gross body, but what is there? Only causal body. Okay, what is the nature of experience of dream of deep sleep state? A state of total self-ignorance and world ignorance. Again, I repeat. Venkatachalam, Purida. What is the nature of experience in deep sleep state? Two types of ignorances. What is self-ignorance and ignorance of the world? And it's called Ananda, bliss. Because no duality. What is that? You are ignorant of yourself and you are ignorant of the world. So what is the nature of experience of deep sleep? Self-ignorance. Total self-ignorance. So what is the medium of experience? Causal body. Causal body is a medium of experience. In the waker, the 10 sense organs, the mind, the intellect are all turned outward. In the waking state, the organs, the indriyas, the 10 indriyas and the mind, the intellect are all turned outward. In the dream state, the organs, the mind, intellect are all turned inward. Turned inward means what? It's not looking inside. Turned inward means all of them are there, but they don't do anything, nothing they do. In the deep sleep state, what happens? There is no inward movement, there is no outward movement, there is no movement. Deep sleep state is a state of, temporary state of no movement. Why do we call it as temporary? Because you come out of the deep sleep state, no? Are you okay till now? These are the 3 states of consciousness. So, what are the 4 adjectives for the waking state? The 4 adjectives for the waking state is, it is external, it is concrete, it is objective, and it is sense organ based. Similarly, what is it for the dream state? Memory, internal. Memory means thoughts. Memory means thoughts. What is memory? Memory is nothing but thoughts. Correct? Memory of an apple means what? Memory means what? Thought, isn't it? Memory of an apple means thought of an apple. Memory of mango means thought of the mango. So, dream is thoughts. Memory means thoughts. Thoughts are not tangible. Correct? Thoughts are not tangible. If thoughts are not tangible, thoughts generated objects are also not tangible. If Dilam Padchadan will become Janaka, Vijay. Clear? No? Some analysis will, some different drama analysis will do today. Yeah. You follow? Thoughts are not tangible. Since thoughts are not tangible, thoughts generated object is also not tangible. Subtle body it is. Are you okay till now? Okay. Waking state is collection. Dream state is recollection. Waking state is collection. Dream state is recollection. From this, what do we understand? Sir, Janaka story is easy, sir. Yeah, the story of Janaka and Ashtavakra is easier than this. Shankar. You cannot recollect what you have not collected. You cannot recollect what you have not collected. Therefore, in the waking state, you collect. In the dream state, you just recollect. What you have not collected, you can never recollect. Therefore, people always believe that dream is a part of the waking state only. That is why most of the thinkers don't give dream a separate status. Dream, they take it as part of the waker's experience. And Vedanta explains how it is influenced by the waker, but it has its own independent status also. Only if we understand that it has an independent status, Janaka's question has a meaning. That's where we are coming to now. Because Shankar only has this problem till now, isn't it, Shankar? It's not yet solved for you, no? Huh? Are you able to follow? Because in the waking state you collect, in the dream state you recollect. Obviously, recollection will have a flavor of the waker. Therefore, based on this observation, people say dream is not a separate state and all. Dream is an essential part of the waking state only. Unnecessarily, Vedanta people are confusing it by calling it as a separate state. In fact, there is only one state called the waking state. That part of the waking state is dreamer and deep sleeper. So they are not three different states. There is only one state. This is how people misunderstand. Vedanta comes and says, up to a point, what you are saying is correct. But if you penetrate deeper, you will understand that they are distinct and different. And Janaka penetrated deeper. What is the penetration he did? Whatever is recorded is what gets reproduced, correct? It's like imagine like a CD player. Oh, nowadays there's no CD player, no. What do we call? You can call it as a tape recorder, then you can call it as a video cassette. Now what do you call? CD. Oh, the CD go to the cloud. I don't know. How do you say that? So whatever you experience, it gets stored in the memory. And dream is just the manifestations of memory. Random manifestations. Therefore, all dream experience is based on waking state only. Yes. If you go by the superficial memory, you are right. But Janaka refused to go by the superficial memory. Why? Because what you see is not what it is. Therefore, he probed deeper. He understood what you see is not what it is, and he probed deeper. All the various things that you experience in the waking state, memory combines it and forms a unique experience. So many things that you experience in the waking state, memory combines all this and it forms a unique experience. That's called fantasizing. That's called dream. That's called, okay, daydreaming is when you sit and consciously do. Dreaming is when the mind does it by itself. But both methodologies one and the same. Daydreaming, you follow? He's laughing because just before starting the class, I was talking to her about this daydreaming and fantasizing. Simply the mind, fantasize. Okay. In the waking state, you have experienced a man a human and you have experienced a buffalo. In the dream, what will happen? Like a Narsimha, it will happen in the dream. What is like Narsimha? A human body and a buffalo head, or a human head and a buffalo body. Narsimha had that, no? Lord Narsimha. Okay. A human body, correct? A human body and a lion's head. It is not a new object, but it is the combination of different objects. So, a combination of different objects put together create an experience. All get mixed up, all get jumbled up, and you get a dream. One possibility, correct? Another possibility, something you want to do in the waking state, but you cannot do. Something you want to do in the waking state, but you cannot do. That comes up in the dream. Huh? You follow? Because mind has an imaginative power, no? Mind can imagine doing things when it cannot actually do. If you cannot actually do through the sense organs, the mind can imagine doing it. Correct? What is that imagination? For example, somebody is insulting me, harassing me. Nobody is doing that to me. Supposing somebody is insulting, harassing, harming. What do you want to do? You can't say Loka Samasta Sikhino Bhavantu, no. You can't wish well and all for that person, no. What do you want to do? You want to retaliate. You want to retaliate. I want to break the face of that person. Isn't it? I want to break the face of that person because I am insulted, I am harassed, I am harmed. Supposing if the person is elderly, maybe the in-laws, maybe the partner, maybe in the class also sometimes, isn't it? You cannot. So what do? Whatever is fantasized or imagined or whatever is read in books or whatever is seen in the movies, all leads to experiences and imagination. Dream. You follow? Now comes the challenge. Sometimes you experience something which is unconnected to any of the waking state. Sometimes. Most of the times we tend to forget these kind of dreams, but if you are sharp enough, you can remember. Sometimes you have an experience which is totally unconnected to the current janma, the current waker. It means what? There is a totally different cause, there is a totally different dimension to dream. Are you able to connect now? If it is entirely connected only to the waking state as we analyzed, it means you can never have anything. You can never ever experience anything unconnected to the waking state. But then you can experience something which is totally unconnected to your waking state. It means there is a distinct and different cause for that. What is the distinct and different cause? That different cause is Loosely we call it as vasana. Vasana directly manifests in the dream. It means the vasana can manifest in the waking state and vasana can manifest in the dream state. Are you okay? Vasana can directly manifest in the dream state, have an experience, and then goes away. Are you able to follow? It means what? There is a distinct personality called waker, the vasanas can project. There is a distinct personality called dreamer, the vasanas can project. The vasanas, when it gets projected in the waking state, it has the state of mind. What are the three things for an experience we said?
Medium of experience, condition of mind,
The condition of the mind,
nature of experience.
the nature of experience, and the medium of experience. So vasanas can project itself in these two ways. What are the two distinct ways? The condition of the mind, the nature of the experience, and the medium of the experience. So vasanas manifest itself as the waker. Vasanas manifest itself as the dreamer. And these vasanas sometimes goes into unmanifest. When it goes into unmanifest, it creates a personality called deep sleeper. So it means there are three personalities. What are the three personalities now? The waker, the dreamer, and the deep sleeper. So yeah, we have established three distinct personalities now. The waker, the dreamer, and the deep sleeper. In the waking state, identifying with the waker, you will say, I am the waker. In the dream state, identifying with the deep sleeper, you will say, I am the dreamer. In the deep sleep state, you will identify with the deep sleeper and you will say, I am the deep sleeper. So, at one point of time, you will say, I am the waker. At another point of time, you will say, I am the dreamer. At another point of time, you will say, I am the deep sleeper. Based on what? Based on the experience. Experience means the three conditions. Are you okay till now? What Janaka asked, in these three, who am I really? What is the question of Janaka now? There are these three personalities. And in these three personalities, who am I really? Waker has a sense organ based experience. The dreamer has a memory based experience. The deep sleeper is a blissfully ignorant person. In the dream state, consciousness is of two. What is the consciousness? It is conscious of itself and conscious of the world around. That is the waking state. In the dream state, it splits itself into two and creates it. That is why it is called subjective world. Dream is the subjective world, waking is the objective world. Why? Because in the waking world, it is sense organs, and so you are aware of yourself and you are aware of the world. In the dream state, the memory itself splits itself into two and creates its own world. It creates its own world. It experiences its own world, isn't it? Two people sleeping next to each other. One person will dream they are in Tirupati Balaji having darshan of Lord. Another person will dream Switzerland, isn't it? Honeymoon in Switzerland. Subjective worlds. Both are next to each other. In the waking world, this possibility and all doesn't exist. Correct? That is why the waking world is called concrete, objective world. The dream world is purely a subjective phenomena, a subjective experience. And what is the deep sleep world? The deep sleeper is a ignorant person. Ignorance of what? Ignorant of oneself and the world. Total ignorance. That's why we say, and this ignorance is a kind of bliss. That's why it's called Ananda Maya Kosha, isn't it? This ignorance is a kind of bliss. If you have a problem, what do? Sleep it off, they say, isn't it? What? Go to sleep, isn't it? Why? Because both simply ceases, when they say ceases to exist, it means the potential is there and it will manifest. It just goes into an unmanifest state, keeping the potential, the deep sleep. Now, there are these three states. What are the three states? In the waking state, we saw subtle body fully functioning, gross body fully functioning. In the dream state, there is no gross body functioning, there is no subtle body fully functioning. Correct? There is no subtle body fully functioning. Why do we say subtle body not fully functional in the dream state? In the dream state, self-effort and all doesn't exist. That's why we say it's fully not functional. In the waking state, there is self-effort. In the dream state, there's no self-effort and all. It is an experience. It is an experience, a very real experience, but it just comes, experiences, and it just dies away by itself. So it means the subtle body is also not fully functional. Gross body is not available. Then what is happening in the dream? Only memory. Only memory. That's why it's called swapna. Swapna nale memory in artham. The Sanskrit word swapna itself means memory. Correct, huh? Commissioner? No, she only corrects all my Sanskrits. Yeah, she has taken the thing. Yeah. Correct, huh? Swapna means memory. Correct? So Jagrat means organ-based. Jagrat means organ-based, and Indriya-based. Swapna means memory-based. Sushupti means both are not there. Sushupti means both are not there. When we say both are not there, temporarily. Temporarily, both are not there. So, three experiences: waker, dreamer, deep sleeper. Now, the question. What is the question? Janaka asks a question because he has experienced a dream. He has experienced a dream and he is able to remember the dream. What is the experience? What is that he has? What is it that he is able to remember? A experience that is totally unconnected to the waker. What is the experience that is totally unconnected to the waker of Janaka? Beggar. It is totally the beggar is something that is totally unconnected to the waking. Remember the example whenever we talk about the waking, dream, deep sleep state, the example that he gives: in the waking state an athlete, in the dream state invalid. A totally different, a totally unconnected, different experience. Now, what is Janaka asking? What is Janaka asking? There are these three personalities. One is the king, another is the beggar, and then another is fully. Never make the mistake. Even though we call it as bliss and all that, actually you should not call it as bliss in the positive sense. Deep sleep state, you should call it as fully ignorant. When we say fully ignorant means ignorant as in not knowing, ignorant as in no consciousness. Ignorant as in no consciousness. In the waking state, you are conscious of yourself and the world. In the dream state, it is only the internal. In the deep sleep state, no consciousness functioning. So when we say ignorant there, is not ignorance of maths and physics as we understand in the waking state ignorance. All this we should have known by now, Venkatachalam. When we are studying about Janaka and all this is understood that we know all this already. Assuming that we know all this already, now Janaka's question. What is the question? There is an awareness. There is a two types of awareness. There is another one type of awareness. And then there is the no awareness state. What is happening? Shankar, கேள்வி புரியுதா? இல்ல சார், இதெல்லாம் out of syllabus you are teaching. இதெல்லாம் this is not there at all. Waker, there is a type of consciousness at one level. There is a different type of consciousness at another level, and then there is no consciousness. So what is Janaka asking now? So waker, dreamer, deep sleeper means don't get carried away by what you experience in the waking state, or don't get carried away by what you are dreaming, or the nothingness. What is it that you got to understand, or what is it that Janaka understood that he is asking? There is a two-way consciousness. There is a one consciousness splitting itself into two, and then there is
No awareness.
No awareness, no consciousness. Now what is Janaka's question? What is happening? What is this drama? What is this? What is happening? Which is very dramatically he asks it as, am I the king, or am I the beggar, or am I the deep sleeper? Now coming to the dream. Don't worry. Next week also I'll do a little bit of waking, dream, deep sleep again. Yeah, and any number of times you can do these three analysis: waking, dream, and deep sleep. Oh, every time you do, you learn something. You learn something new. Why? Because it's Upanishadic stuff, Mandukya Upanishadic stuff. These three states of consciousness is. Now, what is the question of Janaka? The question of Janaka is this. Am I the dreamer? Am I the waker? Or am I the deep sleeper? Meaning, there is one way of functioning in the waking state. There is another way of functioning in the dream state. There is no functioning at all in the deep sleep state. Of these three, who am I? He asked this question. Ministers could not answer. Why? Because any answer you give, he will ask a clarification. Problem is not with the answer. The problem is you give an answer, he will ask a clarification. And if you do not know how to clarify it, if you can't clarify it, whoever answered will be in jail. That's the entire background story. So what happened is, Ashtavakra, father, Ashtavakra, a 13-year-old boy, saw the mother crying. 13-year-old boy saw the mother crying. He went and asked, why are you crying? Father went to answer the king's question. Correct answer sonna, fortune. Wrong answer, prison. And in a matter of 4 days, all the scholars were in prison. Personally, I thought, what a good way of getting rid of all the pseudo teachers from the world. If I go to give an answer, I will also join the group in the jail, I think. Because you can't give some answer and escape from Janaka and all. Because he has penetrated so deeply, even the answerer have not penetrated that deeply. Even the teacher who's teaching wouldn't have penetrated that deeply. And he has penetrated. Therefore, you can't. So Ashtavakra said, what happened? The mother is crying. What is it? The king asked a question. Father answered it wrongly. And the father is in prison. He said, what is the question? Instead of running the kingdom and making sure the taxes and all is not, inflation is coming, recession is coming, depression is coming, I don't know what all is coming, isn't it? Instead of bothering about all this, what should the king do? The king should make sure that inflation is under control, depression doesn't happen, recession doesn't happen. Instead of worrying about all these, the king unnecessarily asked one question. What is the question? Am I the waker? Am I the dreamer? Am I the deep sleeper? He asked this question, and your father, I don't know what answer your father gave, he's in prison. Ashtavakra said, such a simple question, they didn't know how to answer. Look at the boy. Ashtavakra, such a simple question, he doesn't know how to answer. I will go and answer, he said. I will go and answer. He came. Oh, beautifully. It's called Ashtavakra Gita itself. Ashtavakra Gita, a far subtler textbook than Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita, we are sticking to Bhagavad Gita. Ashtavakra Gita is, see, there are a lot of Gitas. Bhagavad Gita. Krishna himself has 2 Gitas. Lord Krishna himself has 2 Gitas. Bhagavad Gita and Uddhava Gita. Same Guru gave 2 kinds of Gita. One, what was given to Arjuna is called Bhagavad Gita. What was given to Uddhava is called Uddhava Gita. And Bhagavad Gita is a stenographer notes. You know that, no? One fellow, Dhritarashtra, was hearing, not knowing what he was hearing. Sanjaya reporting, not knowing what he is reporting. Arjuna had no clue to what Krishna was talking. Idam Bhagavad Gita namba padigirom. Yeah, this is the Bhagavad Gita that we study. Correct, no? Sanjaya reporting to Dhritarashtra, blind king. Dhritarashtra is not interested in the conversation between Arjuna and Krishna. What is Dhritarashtra's concern? Duryodhana should win, Kaurava should win, Pandava should lose. That's all the concern is. Arjuna again. So that is one Gita. The glory of Krishna is such that he spoke the highest, even though these people are not so qualified, he came down to their level and lifted them up. That is Bhagavad Gita. That is Bhagavad Gita. He came down to the level of Dhritarashtra and Arjuna and lifted them up. Uddhava Gita, the problem created because the student themselves is at a very good level of inquiry. So same Krishna has 2 Gitas, Bhagavad Gita and Uddhava Gita. Ashtavakra Gita, what Ashtavakra spoke to Janaka, where this dream and all comes, is Ashtavakra Gita. And then there is Rama Gita, what Rama spoke to Lakshmana. That's called Rama Gita. One of the very, that's a minor text. It has about 40-50 verses, that's all. But very deep in content. Very, very deep in content. Rama Gita is Rama tells Lakshmana, leave Sita in the forest. Lakshmana says, what kind of a person are you? Same Rama cried for Sita a few years back in the forest. For Lakshmana has seen? Lakshmana has seen Rama. See, nobody has seen Rama crying, correct? Only person who saw Rama crying was Lakshmana. And that Rama calling Lakshmana and say, leave Sita in the, drop her in the forest and come back. Drop her in the forest and come back. What does it mean? Don't find a retreat place, ashrama and all and leave her. Just dump her in the forest and come. Lakshmana was furious. But he had to obey the command. So what he does, Lakshmana takes Sita to the forest, dumps her in the forest, and she found her way to some ashrama later. She was literally dumped in the middle of nowhere. And Lakshmana comes back, disturbed, furious, agitated. There a conversation happens between Rama and Lakshmana. That is called Rama Gita. There are lots of Gitas like that. In this context of Ashtavakra and Janaka, what we are looking at it is Ashtavakra Gita. There, now the story continues. Ashtavakra comes into Janaka's court. He comes and tells, 5 minutes I'll tell the story. You all know the story already. Yeah. More time, more dramas we will add. Less time, we will edit out of that, isn't it? But nevertheless, storyline remains the same. Ashtavakra comes and announces that I have come to answer the king's question. Fellow said, have you come to answer? Yes, I have come to answer the king's question. So the god goes and announces, there is a boy who has come to answer. Janaka was very excited. Asked him to come. When he walked in, the whole lot started laughing. Ashtavakra walked into the court, the whole lot started laughing. Why? Because Ashtavakra. Yeah. Ashta means 8. Vakra means twist. Tamil Ashta Konal Nwanga. There is a word we used to use. Vocabulary. These words and all have gone out of our vocabulary now. Isn't it? Venkatachalam. Do you remember that word? Ashta Konal. Ashta Konal na Ashtavakra. It came from Ashtavakra. 8 kind of distinct and different twists in the body. Right leg will go in the left direction, left leg will go in the right direction, spine will be curved. Between 2 teeth, there will be a space that the whole world can come in and get. You can't get an ugly personality more than Ashtavakra. He walked in, everybody laughed. When everybody laughed, Ashtavakra started laughing. Janaka saw that. Beautiful Janaka. Janaka saw that. He came and said, I can understand why others are laughing, because they are body shaming. Yeah. They are laughing at you. But why are you laughing? Why are you laughing? He said, I am laughing at you, Janaka. They are laughing at me and I am laughing at you. He said, why are you laughing at me? People told me outside that you have an assembly full of wise men. You have an assembly full of wise men. And you are also a very wise person. Having walked in, I am seeing only cobblers sitting here, and you are a head of the cobbler. Yeah. You don't go. When you see the king, you should address as highness, no? Isn't it? Even today, that's the culture. When you see the king, you don't say the name and all. You say His Highness or I don't know, Her Highness, whatever be it. You can't call. And you don't call the king as head cobbler, isn't it? Head of the cobblers. Ashtavakra said, you are that. Janaka said, why are you calling these people as cobblers? And I walked in. Look at that. What you see in a person. You can see the consciousness or you can see the instrument. When I walked in, people saw the instrument and they related to the instrument and they started laughing. Who is a wise person? Who doesn't see the instrument but see the consciousness that is enlivening the instrument. That is a wise person. You don't see the instrument. You see the consciousness that is enlivening the instrument. These people saw the instrument and they started laughing. Cobbler attention will be on the skin. Whose attention will be on the skin? Cobbler's attention will be on the skin. They saw the skin and they started laughing. Janaka said, only a wise man can say things like this. He said, I am sure that you have come to, I know that you have answered to my question. Can you answer my question? Ashtavakra asked, what is your question? He narrated the dream as though it is happening then. As though it is happening there. To be continued, next week we'll continue. Janaka narrated the dream. What is the dream? The beggar. The beggar. Actually, it is not the beggar. He went through a series of experiences and finally that beggarly state he reached. He reached that beggarly state. That's where I'm saying to be continued next week. That beggarly state. What is that beggarly state? He was so desperate, he was just to have that sip of water. The bird flew and it flipped the glass. Water fell down. He said, "Ayyo," he woke up. That's the dream. Janaka could not believe that he can come to that beggarly state. Beggar means that beggarly state, not that beggar, not that railway station beggar. Please understand, not the railway station beggar, not that beggar sitting outside the temple and asking for alms. He didn't dream like that. That beggarly state that he was in, which he couldn't even relate with. That's the question. A person who's used to giving and inquiry, courage, etc., could never ever believe that he can reach that beggarly state. And he narrated it as though it happened just now, as though it happened just now. For which the answer is, and then he asked, what is this? Am I the waker? Am I the dreamer? Or am I the deep sleeper? Is it the objective or is it the subjective or it is nothing? What is it? Is it the two-way thing or is it the inner thing or it is nothing? What is it? Janaka's Ashtavakra's answer is, you are nothing. When you identify with the gross body, you are a Janaka. When you identify with the subtle body, you are a beggar. When you identify with the causal body, you are nothing. So it is the bodies that goes through these. You are not the bodies, therefore you are not that. Are you able to follow? When you identify with the gross body only, you will say, I am Janaka. When you identify with the dream only, you will say, I am the beggar. Only when you identify with the deep sleep state, you will say, I am that zero, nothing. So it is that experience of king or beggar or nothing is connected to the body, not to you. It's connected to the body and not you. Therefore, you are different from the waker, the dreamer, the deep sleeper, because you are different from the bodies. When it is proven that you are different from the bodies, it is automatically proved that you are not the waker, you are not the dreamer, you are not the deep sleeper. How how Ashtavakra elaborated it, we will continue it next week. Because some part, it's a beautiful dream. It's a beautiful dream. So we will try to see the dream first. Anshu. We will see the dream first, the story of the dream, and then we will analyze it and connect it to what we studied today. That is the discussion. Waker, dreamer, deep sleeper, and you. So yeah, with this, we conclude for today and continue with the like episode 1, episode 2, serial, isn't it? Dream has to continue next week. We'll continue with Chanaka's dream.